Thank you for inviting me to this gathering. I'm very honored to speak to you, and I think, as the previous speakers here say, that women into the shipping industry is a very important part of the solution. We need you. Sorry, guys, but that's how it is. Thank you. I will talk about sustainability on a cruise business in the Arctic, and is it an opportunity or is it utopia? And the short, simple answer is yes. So think over that. Just some few words about Bellona. We are an environmental NGO that's based and funded in Norway, but we now have offices in Brussels and 2 offices in Russia, working with nuclear issues and the industry and even renewable energy in Russia. And Brussels is more important to Norway than we like to acknowledge. So to be in Brussels is important for us. And it's important to say, even if I talk about the Arctic, which is actually quite a sad story, what's going on there with the nature, we are fundamentally technology optimistic and solution based. So whatever situation we are in, we have no choice. We need to be technology optimistic and think that we can solve all these challenges we have. So what's about this Arctic? It's a lot of definition of what is Arctic, and the common thing is that it's all extreme. The daylight in summer, the winter darkness, and the weather, the biology, geography, vulnerability, and of course it's a lot of resources in the Arctic too that is becoming more available for everyone to exploit when the ice goes back. So it's really important to look to the Arctic. It's in a way about the climate. If you are worried about the climate, you should worry even more about the Arctic, because it's our air condition. And if it fails, it's no good place to stay. This is the IMO definition of the Arctic waters. So the polar code, which the IMO has defined, is inside this this red circle with this here. And this is the ice situation since the 80s, and as you see, we are about the blue here is this year, and we are about to have a new record. Nothing to applaud for. This is the trend, and this is what's going to happen if the temperature, if the emission don't stop. Even today, we are over the 1.5 degree goal in the Arctic is already gone. So what's harmed the total planet harms the Arctic much more. And about what's the sustainability part of the cruising industry in the Arctic, it's you can't look at it as a single activity and see that's the impact so and so. You need to see it in this context. There is, I define it as 7 plagues of the Arctic, the burden of the nature, and it's both the climate and acidification of the oceans. The plastic ends up in Arctic like the radioactive contamination and pollutants. The Arctic is a sink for collecting all these human emissions. Our vision for the shipping industry globally is that it should be carbon neutral in 2050. I'm very impressed of IMO saying that they will cut 50% in 2050 because it's a fixed number. It's not a percent of some. It's a percent of what was emitted in 2008, and with the growth, for every ship, it needs to be 70, 80, or 90% emission cut in 2050. So that's really a revolution. And how to feed this fleet with calories, as was mentioned earlier here. Even I don't know because we don't have the production capacity to feed this fleet. This is one projection of how we can do it. And you see hydrogen and ammoniac batteries, that kind of things is a very important part of the solution. It's this revolution has in a way started in Norway, and I'm working hard to bring these ideas around the world, into EU and Brussels and to Russia and everywhere. And as you see, biofuel is also an important part of the solution, and we can't use the agriculture to grow this energy, the bioenergy. We actually need to use the ocean to grow this energy. So all the technology is there. We just don't have the capacity to produce the energy needed. And as I said, evolution is not enough. We need a disruptive revolution to make this happen. And you all have heard about the 1.5 degree report that says time is up, it's saying here. Oh, then we go fast forward and we take the rest in the debate afterwards. The LNG dilemma, it came a new report now saying the climate effect of LNG is not as big as it was thought before, but in the Arctic you take away all the sulfur, the NOx, the black carbon, everything you take away. So I still promote LNG in the Arctic until we have bio-LNG, which is going past that. This is a decision made by the government, the Parliament of Norway this spring, that the World Heritage Fjords of the West Coast, Geiranger and that likes, they will not allow emissions from the ships by 2026. So then you need Hurtigruten and other kind of vessels that are emission-free. That is a revolution. It means that you stop the big cruise ships. Maybe in 2030 they have a solution for that and can come in, and it will be a big competition because the first one, the first cruise ship who managed to be emission-free for some hours, they will win this and have this fjords alone. Heavy fuel oil, Daniel told about, it's important. In Svalbard, it's banned all over Svalbard, except where the ships goes. It's very typical political decision that looks very fine. The whole area is stopped, but not Isfjorden and Svea, which the ships goes. So it has no actually impact. We are working, IMO, the environmental committee of IMO is gathering in London this week actually and discussing HFO ban in the Arctic. So what's on the menu? Many ships is developed. We have the technology, so it's to scale everything up. This is the biggest battery plant in the world, and it's able to run this vessel for 10-12 hours. So you can't have this batteries on board and the tourist on top. It's impossible. So, and here is all the other connected solutions. We need this electric. One of the founders of Steve's is a girl in the audience here somewhere. It's made for whale watching and tourism in the Arctic. Buses, trucks, even electric flies. We have to develop them. And this is what the Norwegian government wants to achieve by 2030, 35. And then comes all the other energy things. So prepare for the new reality. It's actually a new reality out there, and we are producing papers showing that things are possible. Thank you.